Hi guys, welcome to my video. Today we will use a for loop container to get the records from a SQL Server table and store it in a different CSV. So for it I have create one database. It's a DB1. Inside it we have one student table and these are the records available here. So based on the number of attempt filled, we will create a different CSV. As you can see, number of attempt is going to repeat sometimes, and maximum number of attempt is 4. So here these are the query which will be required, like a select max number of attempts from a student. So when I will run it, it will return a 4, and select star from students where number of attempt equals to 2, so it will return this values. You can put a 3 or 4 here, like this. So now move to our SSIS package, and first one we will create some variables required for this example. So right click here, click on add new variable. So I'm going to take a first one is a counter, and the counter value will be 1. It is an integer type, so I have set its value to 1. And another one is a file path. So here you need a string data type to store the path of the files where it will be stored. Yes, and the value I am going to store my all the CSV in a D drive and in a student folder, and that I have already created is a student folder. And the third variable required is maximum attempt. So I am going to create maximum attempt ID, and it will be as it is 0. Okay, so these three variables I have created, and now in the control flow from the SSIS toolbox I am going to take a execute SQL task to return a maximum number of attempts. So I am going to rename this and give a name get max attempt. So now double click here to configure it. So first one required properties are connection. So you need to connect your SQL Server database. It's a DB1, so I'm not going to do the process again. So click OK. So my DB1 is connected, and it will retrieve the single row because you are going to retrieve the maximum ID. So here as a result set you need to select the single row from it, and SQL statement, it is there in a SQL Server, select max number of attempts from the students. So I'm just going to copy this and paste here. So here it will return the maximum number of attempts from the students. So now in a result set you need to set the variable which you have created for the maximum number of attempt. So here I am going to select the max attempt ID variable, click OK. So your execute SQL task is ready. You will get the maximum attempt ID from it, and now going to take a for loop container and connect it with the execute SQL task. So now I'm going to configure the for loop container. So here, initialization of a variable, we know it very well, it is done as a prefix at the right sign. So my first variable is counter, and I'm going to set its value to 1. Then counter will be less than equals to max underscore attempt underscore id. It is the name of our variable. So here the maximum attempt id, you know it very well, it is a 4. So the loop runs 4 times, and then here the increment and decrement. So counter equals to counter plus 1. This will be my conditions. Click OK. And now I'm going to take a data flow task and going to set its name. It is for to generate CSV. And now data flow task, double click here, so you will be moved to data flow, and here I am going to take a from the sources, I am going to take a OLEDB as a source because our sources is in a SQL server, that's why. So going to configure it. So db1 is a configured here, and now from the data access mode you need to take a SQL command and you will write the query here, the query which we have already written here. Select star from students where number of attempt equals to 3. So I'm going to copy this and paste here. So it will return the number of attempts value which is 3 only. So and we want all the number of attempts from SQL Server table. So I'm going to put the question mark here and going to set the parameter for it. So click on the parameters, and here you will get the number of attempts one by one from the counter variable, because counter variable is increase one by one, that's why. So select the counter variable here, click OK, and OK. So your source is configured. Now we need a destination, and we want a destination as a CSV. So I am going to take a flat file destination and connect it with our source. It is connected. Now going to configure it. So click on new. Here you need to select a delimited, means a comma separated value. Click OK. So here you need to browse a basic CSV, demo CSV, you need to provide it. So that's why I have created a student1.csv in our folder, like a D drive and student folder, and it is a fully blank right now. Okay, so close it and just browse the CSV from the D drive and student table. It's a student1.csv. You need to check a column names in a first data row, means all the names of the columns should be there as a first row. View the preview once and click OK. Move to mapping. So here you can see all the columns are mapped except this ID, so you can map like this and click OK. Okay, it is done here. So now it will create a flat file connection manager. So you need to open the properties of it. So here you can see that a connection string means a student1.csv is there in a D drive C folder, in a D drive student folder. So it will create a records, it will generate the records, but it will store in a single CSV only. So you need to set the expression for it. So set the expression property, expand it, and here you need to set the connection string here and expand this expression. Open the variable which you have created. Now as an expression you need to put all the things in a double quotation, and then for concatenation you need to use a plus plus. So I'm going to take a first path variable and evaluate my expression. So it will generate a evaluated value will be in a D drive and in a student folder. Now my value should be stored like this. I want a slash after the folder, so you need to put the slash over here, and then again for concatenation you need to use a plus plus, and I'm going to take a counter variable. It will count one by one and generate the CSV, and my CSV named should be student. Evaluate the okay, sorry, there is something wrong here. Okay, here counter variable return integer value, so you need to convert it in a string type. So I'm going to convert it with the dt underscore wstr comma 12. So here you can see in a D drive student folder, and it will generate the CSV with the name student, and then we want extension dot CSV. Click OK. Okay, so save it and run your package. Before it you need to see in a D drive student folder there is nothing in it except our demo CSV. So now I'm going to run this. Okay, it will load the values, and now move to your folder. There is a CSVs like a student 1, student 2, 3 and 4. Open this, so you can see there is a number of attempt 1 will be there inside it. I'm going to close it, and I'm going to open this student2.csv. so you will find a number of attempt value will be 2, and 3, yes, and last one will be 4. See, so this is how we can create a different CSV from a SQL Server table to analyze the data properly. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe my channel.